Keir Starmer's silence has raised eyebrows after 10 Labour MPs were accused of being involved in a charity scandal. Once again, the party finds itself caught in a swirl of controversy, sparking doubts about the integrity of those elected to represent the people. What's more alarming is that these MPs not only lost their credibility, but also displayed a lack of courage when confronted with such a serious matter. In today's video, we'll delve into the details of this scandal and bring you the latest news from across the country. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates on politics nationwide. A group of Labour MPs has been named champions of the United Kingdom after they voted to reduce winter fuel payments for 10 million pensioners, according to recent revelations. Age UK, an organisation that launched a campaign to maintain the winter fuel allowance for pensioners this year, listed 58 MPs as supporters of the charity at Westminster. However, some MPs, including Barry Gardiner, Brent West, Margaret Mullane, Dagenham and Rainham, Frank McNally, Coatbridge and Bells Hill, Olivia Blake, Sheffield Hallam, Sarah Champion, Rotherham, Fabian Hamilton, Leeds North East, Mark Sewards, Leeds South West and Morley, Clive Betts, Sheffield South, and Derek Twigg, Widneys and Halewood, voted in favour of cutting the benefit last month. Additionally, other Labour MPs, including Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn, chose to abstain from the controversial vote. Many local residents received emails from Age UK confirming which MPs had signed up as champions for the charity. However, after concerns were raised about the inconsistency of these MPs, Age UK responded by saying that their representative had voted in favour of changing the winter fuel payments. Although this may have been disappointing, some MPs, under pressure from the majority vote and the threat of losing their political standing, felt compelled to vote with the government to maintain their position and continue to influence future policy changes. Age UK, one of the UK's leading charities advocating for the rights of the elderly, launched a petition campaign to preserve winter fuel payments. Amid soaring energy costs, the lives of thousands of older people are in crisis, faced with the difficult choice of heating their homes or paying for food. This campaign is not just about keeping a long-standing policy in place, but also emphasises the importance of protecting the most vulnerable members of society. Many older voters place their trust in their politicians, believing that their benefits will be safeguarded. Unfortunately, many politicians have failed to keep their promises. Notably, MPs Barry Gardiner and Margaret Mullane, who were previously praised for supporting Age UK's campaign, ultimately voted to cut winter fuel payments when it came to the crucial moment in Parliament. This betrayal has sparked outrage among elderly voters, who feel deceived by those they once trusted. Following the announcement of the cutback vote, the elderly community and charitable organisations expressed deep disappointment. Age UK has also criticised the MPs for failing to fulfil their responsibilities in protecting older citizens. The organisations argue that amid the skyrocketing energy prices, reducing support is a grave mistake. Political commentator Patrick Christie did not hold back in his criticism of MPs who voted to cut winter fuel payments. In a recent interview, he called them weak and pathetic, accusing them of betraying their elderly constituents who rely on government support. Christie further emphasised that the politicians' lack of responsibility in protecting the rights of the vulnerable is eroding public trust in the government. This could have significant political consequences in the future as people begin to doubt the government's ability to manage effectively. In a recent speech in Liverpool, Labour leader Keir Starmer defended the decision to reduce winter fuel payments, arguing that difficult decisions are unavoidable to stabilise the economy amid the current crisis. However, his explanation failed to convince those directly impacted by these policies. Starmer stressed that economic recovery is a top priority, and the government cannot continue to maintain benefits without risking a budget deficit. Yet, many believe that sacrificing the welfare of the elderly is not a reasonable solution, especially during such challenging times. Public discontent over this decision has spread widely. Discussions on social media and political forums indicate that many view the reduction in winter fuel payments as a misguided step by the government. While the wealthy may easily cope with rising energy costs, the elderly, living on fixed pensions, feel abandoned. Charities like Age UK have called on the government to reconsider this decision and find alternative ways to balance the budget without harming the most vulnerable groups in society. In other news, Meghan Markle has been criticised by former Vanity Fair editor Tina Brown, who claimed that she has made some of the worst decisions in the world. Royal author Tina Brown, who wrote a biography of Princess Diana in 2007, criticised the Duchess of Sussex during her appearance on the Uncle podcast to promote her new newsletter Fresh Hell. Brown remarked that Meghan's key flaw is her poor judgment. She continued, saying that while Meghan's ideas may seem reasonable, they often result in failure. Brown had previously described the Duke and Duchess of Sussex as individuals constantly caught up in drama, suggesting that their departure from senior royal duties was a misguided move. She likened Prince Harry to a sacrificial lamb, accusing him of blindly following Meghan without careful consideration. Brown often critiques the royal family, particularly Meghan Markle. In her 2022 book, The Palace Papers, Inside the House of Windsor, The Truth and the Turmoil, she reiterated these views. In her earlier work, The Diana Chronicles, 2007, Brown argued that the couple's decision to leave the royal family was impulsive and poorly thought out. Additionally, Brown shared that many palace advisors had long believed Prince Harry would eventually step down from his royal role due to his discomfort with the rules and pressures. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex officially stepped back from royal duties in January 2020 and moved to California 6 months later. Finally, a Labour minister recently asserted that spending over £6.5 million to St Helena to take in migrants from the Chagos Islands is a mutually beneficial solution. Stephen Dowdy, Minister for the UK's Overseas Territories, told the House of Commons that this was a temporary measure before the UK relinquished control of the Chagos Islands. This decision followed the announcement that the sovereignty of the islands, part of the British Indian Ocean Territory, would be transferred to Mauritius. Dowdy also clarified that there is no comparison between this agreement and the now cancelled Rwanda migration plan. Foreign Secretary Andrew Mitchell expressed concerns that an influx of migrants could affect the small, close-knit community in St Helena. He questioned how many migrants would be relocated to the island and whether the number would exceed the capacity of the island, which has fewer than 5,000 residents. While not opposed to international migration, Mitchell voiced scepticism about the choice of such a remote territory as St Helena, thousands of miles from Diego Garcia, as the destination. He also referenced the Labour Party's cancellation of the Rwanda plan and asked if the government's stance on international migration had shifted. Doughty, representing Cardiff South and Penarth, responded that the government is seeking practical solutions to address the current situation, emphasising that there should be no comparison to the Rwanda programme. He stated that the agreements with Mauritius and St Helena offer the best solution, as the British Indian Ocean Territory, BIOT, is unsuitable for migrants due to its lack of a permanent population and inadequate facilities. He also noted that the plan would cost £6.65 million, excluding additional expenses for each migrant. Sir Julian Lewis, Conservative MP for New Forest East, expressed concern that the number of migrants could exceed expectations and asked whether there would be a limit. However, Doughty did not commit to a specific cap, instead stressing that the agreement with Mauritius and St Helena was designed to address migration to places unsuitable for settlement, while also preventing dangerous journeys to unfit territories. Additionally, Liberal Democrat MP Lewis James McCleary raised the issue of an investigation into a phone hacking incident involving the British Commission during negotiations over the Chagos Islands. He asked how the government would handle this potential security breach. Doughty responded that the alleged attacks were historical and unrelated to recent negotiations. Many political experts have expressed concerns about the government's decision to cut fuel allowances and shift immigration policy. They argue that this decision could severely damage the Labour Party's credibility and lead to a loss of trust among voters in the political system. Economists also believe that while cutting fuel allowances may save the government a significant amount in the short term, it could have negative long-term effects on the economy. When people cannot afford to pay their energy bills, they will be forced to reduce spending in other areas, resulting in decreased consumption and slowing economic recovery. We would love to hear your thoughts on the issues we've discussed in today's video. Do you think the government should reinstate allowances for the elderly? Please share your views in the comments section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for in-depth analyses and the latest updates on UK politics.